Good day, everyone. My name is Dr. Tiwa, and welcome to another episode of Seco Direct. Today, we're going to talk about aging, and of course, aging has a lot of factors. There's a lot of things that we can talk about. Different from wrinkles or having gray hair. You have to understand, most of us, we always have this thing where, okay, when I was younger, I knew how to play football. I could run from here to there, but now, once I run from here to half field, I'm always panting. I'm always struggling and everything. This is aging. The way aging works is that what you are able to do when you are younger, it just progressively gets much more difficult to do. Even with seeing, even with walking, even with breathing, even with eating, there are a lot of ways that aging can affect your body. So with this episode, we're going to explore all these ways that aging can affect you and how you can age gracefully. And maybe you'd think, okay, gray hair, maybe my gray hair would be different from what it typically is. It's not going to be from stress, but from what I want to have as I grow older. So let's go on with the episode. So the aging process, how does it go? So the aging process goes generation to generation, covers about 30 years. We have different classifications of what is old, because when you go on the internet, go on social media, if you're above 30, you're old to everybody over there. But that is not the case most of the time. There is actual old in terms of what it's meant to be. So we have like in the 60s or early 70s, which is actually referred to as young old. So if you're 30, 40, 50, take it easy. You are not that old, because young old is referred to as 60 to 70 years old. And then old is when you're in your 70s and your 80s. Then old, above 80 years old. In Nigeria, as we see it, it's more on the young side if we go by this evaluation. Because I think the expectancy in Nigeria is about 50 to 55 years. But what we have to understand with aging is it's a natural decline in your body. It's a natural, you tend to do things differently as you age. If you watch football, you always notice that whenever they talk about older football players, they always say, he has the idea, he's so experienced. Things that younger players will run to do, the older player will calm down, evaluate the situation, and then make the move. So we want to make you that experienced older player, rather than being the older player that, because he used to only rely on running all the time, by the time he got to 30, he could not run again, so he became a bad player. What we are doing here with aging is to make you know that you can age to the point where you become even a better football player as you advance in your own game of life as it goes. Aging is a biological process. It's irreversible. There's nothing that we can do that, so far anyway, there's nothing you can do to reverse aging or make aging stop. Science can go so far as we go ahead in life, but as of right now, there's nothing that can be done to reverse aging. But you have to understand that aging is one of life's gifts, and you can have it and still gracefully live your life the way it's meant to be. So what does aging do, and what diseases are mostly related to aging? Most age-related diseases, they usually come about because in our body we have protein. You understand? So protein is that thing that we always want to have when we are eating fish, or want to eat meat, or we're eating beans or eggs. That's how we get protein into the body. You understand? So now when we have this protein in the body, which is very nice for us as we grow older, that protein, it helps in your aging process. So once protein helps your cells, human beings are made up of cells, and because you are growing older, those cells also grow older. And the things that help those cells typically to make them fine is protein. So when you grow older, protein formation begins to go down. So once your protein formation begins to go down, your cells begin to die out. You understand? So because of that continuous process of, the protein is not doing as well as it used to, the cell death becomes more and more. I'm not trying to be scary, but cell death, cells also regenerate, but they don't regenerate as fast as they used to when you were younger. For instance, when you break your legs, when you suffer a fracture, you break your leg when you are younger. If you are younger, there is a better chance of you healing all the way through, because you are young, your bones are not yet fully solidified. So that's why the surgeon is very good at, okay, your bones will get healed quicker. But when you're old and you suffer the same fracture, the healing process is slower, and the complete healing is not all the way through. So that is what I mean with protein. So when your protein is not getting your cells to regenerate faster, everything begins to slow down. So there are several mechanisms, of course, that you can identify that will contribute to this aging process. Now, I'm about to get into a bit of scientific level. So there's something called a genomic instability. So as you grow older, your cells or your genes, DNA, if you've heard of DNA, or your genes, we've talked about genes before in Circle Direct, about how there are things that you can pass down from generation to generation. So when you grow older, these genes begin to have mutations and alterations. Let me give you an example. As you are young, when you have cold and catarrh, you use a particular drug for that cold and catarrh. The drug will go in and solve it. Now, if you have vaccines, for instance, as a younger child, the vaccine makes sure that sickness that you have is going to be taken away just because you have that vaccine in you. So your cells begin to mutate that, okay, whenever smallpox comes in, because I have this vaccine, whenever this chickenpox comes in, I know, okay, this is how I'm going to attack it. This is how I'm going to take it away from the body. That is how your genes mutate. So the gene will continue mutating to make sure that they adjust to every single illness that you've had before, or every single change in condition or environment that you've ever had, or any health related issues that you've ever had before. But as they keep on changing and mutating and making all these different changes, they begin to wear out. The protection of these genes begins to wear out, leading to the dying of your cells. That's just a key feature of aging. So the dying of the cells, we have the scientific name that we call them. We usually call them cellular senescence. So this cellular senescence can affect your body in two ways. Firstly, there is accumulation of senescent cells. So senescent cells is dying cells. So don't get missing with what I'm saying. It's called dying cells. So these dying cells affect how your cells regenerate, because if they are, like I said before, if they continue to die more frequently, the regeneration begins to become slower. So they no longer divide and grow. They just begin to contribute to more age-related diseases. So that's one way that it can be affected. Then the second way is if these dying cells secrete something. So cells usually have things that they can secrete to help with your regulation of your body in terms of how it moves and how it continues to grow. So when these dying cells secrete something, there's something called a senescence associated secretory phenotype. So you understand it that, okay, if a dying cell can produce something, that something will be negative because it's already a dying cell. So when that thing is dying and it secretes something, it will obviously negatively affect your body. Now, there's research that has been done about these dying cells. Or let me even go back so that you understand. The two ways that your body can be affected by dying cells. One, once your cells continue to die more rapidly, it becomes more difficult for it to come back alive again. And when it comes back alive again, it begins to be slower and slower and slower. Why? Because the cells are dying faster and faster and faster. So the rate at which your cells die begins to be faster than when they come back alive. So because of that, we get an accumulation of those dying cells. That's number one. Number two, those dying cells that are now there, they now start secreting things. Those things will affect your body negatively. Now, this is aging. Aging is natural. It's a biological process. What I'm talking about now is a natural occurrence. I'm not saying things that are meant to get you scared or say that, oh, if you grow old, you are going to start having so many dying cells in your body. And yes, that can happen, but that is just a natural biological process. And we're going to even bring you to a point where we are going to tell you things that will slow that process down. Make sure that those dying cells don't become too much where the regeneration is not keeping up with how the cells are dying. So now, according to research, there are many ways to effectively slow these dying cells getting more and more. Lifestyle changes. Now, with lifestyle changes, people have to understand that if you want to build a house, the building blocks, the foundation is usually the best thing to do when you want to build a house. Now, a foundation for you to grow and for you to be very adequate as you age and age gracefully is always done when you are younger. So we have to lay the foundation as we are younger. Like I said, old is 60 years. So when I say you are younger now, I'm not saying, oh, if you're listening to us and you're already 45, it's too late. No, it's not too late. Old starts 60, 70. And even if you're 60 or even if you're 65 years old, it doesn't still mean that it's too late. You can still make those lifestyle changes that will even help you as you are 80, 85, 90. This is what we all come to bring about. We always come to bring solutions, bring in things that would help you live your life the best way, health-wise. That's what we bring to you with Circle Direct. So effective lifestyle changes, as I've said, you have to eat well. You have to get a diet rich in fruits, in vegetables, in lean proteins, and in healthy fats. Exercise also is very critical, if I must say. For exercise, because you are older, it doesn't mean, for people like my own size, for instance, lifting weights, that is appropriate for us. Like, for instance, even when you grow older, the amount of weights you can lift also reduces. Like when I was younger, I could lift 150. Now I go 120, 125 as the best case scenario. That's what I do. But it's not that I'm less fit than what I was before. It's just my body has adapted to reach the peak of what my age now can give me. So as I grow older, I know, okay, yes, I'm lifting less, but I'm peaking to the fitness level that I'm meant to reach at my age. And even if I even push it, I can still reach those heights that I reached as when I was younger. That is how it is when you age gracefully. You don't think about these benchmarks of that you had younger as something that you can never attain. You look at it as you can attain them, but you've just peaked in where you are meant to be when it comes to your age at that time. Another thing that can affect your aging is stress. Now, a lot of people always look at stress and be like, oh, I have these 3, 4, 5 strands of gray hair on my hair because I have stress. Maybe I should even get more stressed so that I can have these fanciful gray hairs on my head again. No, let's not. Gray hair is very nice. I wish I had gray hair. I have gray hair actually, but not the gray hair that is from what I want. Gray hair from stress is not optimal. It's not the best for you. You can get gray hair from having a fantastic lifestyle, from doing things the right way, from relaxing, from getting the normal amount of sleep, from being involved in group activities and hobbies. When people grow older, they tend to have this thing where they want everything around their life to be so serious, so tight, so stressful. Because, I have a family, I need to provide, I need to do this. That cannot take away you engaging in group activities that are fun. You can always go out with your wife, go out with your kids. Your kids can have activities that you also enjoy. For instance, when I was younger, my dad used to play games with me. He used to play car racing games with me. So you too, as you grow older, you can get involved with your kids in terms of games that would also not only bring you and your family together, but they also bring your stress levels down. And when you bring your stress levels down, what does that do? It decreases your aging. You go outside and people start saying, "Oh, you look so bright. You look bright. You are brighter today. What's going on? What's happening?" Now, they might think, "Oh, maybe you're eating fruit, you're eating vegetables." Yes, that is also part of it. But what they also don't know is you are sleeping better. You are doing group activities with your loved ones that is making you feel alive, feel better. There are simple things that you can do that always do go a long way when it comes to aging and the aging process. Like I said, group activities, engaging in hobbies. There are some people that they had hobbies when they were younger that they no longer do. Why? Because there was a period where they were so stressed and they were into working. They just abandoned everything that they used to like. Now, I'm not saying, "Oh, abandon your work and then go back to doing all those things." No, but you can always say, "Okay, I used to like writing books. I used to like reading books. I used to like running early in the morning, just from here to there." You can just be like, "Okay, you know what? I might not need to get all those hobbies back and start taking all the 10 hobbies I used to do very well." You can just start with one. You can just start, "Okay, you know what? I used to like watching movies when I was younger. Let me watch one movie a week. Let me watch one movie a day. Let me at least feel good that I'm doing something I used to gain joy from doing." And that will also help you feel better and help with your aging process. Engaging in fun activities 1000% always helps you out when it comes to your aging process, because you are always going to feel brighter when you do something that makes you happier. Lastly, another thing that you need to do that will also help with repairing and regenerating those dying cells is sleep. You need to get enough sleep. 8 hours is what is suggested worldwide. And if you at least are able to gradually get to sleeping to 6 to 8 hours a day, that will also help out in making sure that the aging process is slowed down. In summary, for what we've done today, with everything that we've said today, now we've spoken about the aging process. We've spoken about the classes of aging. You are not too old. We've spoken about where you can classify yourself as the young old, the old, or the old from 70, 80, 90 years old. We've spoken about that. We've also spoken about how dying cells come about, how the aging process is natural occurrence that everyone should accept. We've spoken about the factors that can contribute to this process being accelerated. Now, we've also spoken about things that can slow it down: dancing, doing your fun activities, relating better with your family, sleeping well, eating good, eating fruits, eating vegetables, exercising to the best of your ability. We've also spoken about how even if there's any reduction in what you normally do as a person, you should not take it negatively as, "Oh, I've regressed as a human being into my fitness." No, you've not regressed. You've just adapted to the peak fitness that you can attain at your age. Now, that is all that we have to say with aging process, how to slow it down, and what accelerates it. That brings us to the end of this episode of Seco Direct. I'm your host, Dr. Tiwa. If you have any questions or anything that you want to tell us, let us know and put your comments in the section below. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.